What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect. Aliexpress reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to look at like a classic mini PC that I could play some games on. And I was a little surprised when it showed up in its own little refrigerator. This here is the Divoom Ditoo Pro. It can play games, it can be a speaker, it can be whatever you want. Let's take a look. I am pretty excited to be looking at the Ditoo or Ditto. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but this is a Divoom Ditoo Pro. It's a sweet little retro computer that does all kinds of cool pixel art and plays a few video games. Really retro games, which I think are fitting for the computer itself. It is in some fancy wrap, and there is a lot of wrapping that goes into this. You know it is a very nice product when it has the amount of wrapping it has on here, and it comes in a mini fridge. I'm not sure really if it's a mini fridge, but it comes in what appears to be a mini fridge. We'll just take that right out of there. We'll throw it up on the counter. Now, there are some things behind this, so you are actually going to see a braided USB-A to USB-C cable, and that's a braided cable from Divoom, which is really nice. You have an origami flip book in this one, not an origami accordion, and then you also have some stickers, and I think these are to put on the device and or the refrigerator. I'm not really sure what they're for, but you know what? They look really cool. And then you also have your inspection sticker, and this one did pass. Yep, that is a pass. All right, now that we got this all unboxed, I'm going to quickly go through some of the features for you. I'm just going to walk you through and tell you about them, and then we are going to just play with it a little bit. We're probably not going to touch everything on here because it does a lot, but I'm going to show you some of my favorite things about it. This obviously works as a digital clock. That's not going to be a thing that's going to be a surprise, I don't think, to anybody. It also has an alarm built in. Also, I don't believe it'll be a surprise. It does have a high-definition speaker in it, which is crazy. So you do have your speaker coming out of the top here. You'd be surprised at how bassy this thing can get because it does actually have a spot for the woofer here on the back. If you ever looked at any other of the Divoom pixel art projects before that do audio, they are all pretty loud, and it is great with this. And speaking of pixel art, as you can see with my little Game Boy here, the DMG here on the front screen, this does a good job with pixel art as well. You can not only download these, you can draw them yourself, and you can create the animations yourself as well, if that's something that you're interested in. This does have a very comprehensive app that goes along with it, and that's where you're going to be able to do things like draw and stuff like that, and also you can play internet radio stations through there if you want to. Easiest way to set the clock and the alarms is also through the app. One thing that you will find as well, after you connect it to your Bluetooth, you get your alerts, your notifications, you get your message notifications. You can use this thing as a headline ticker, so you can get the top headlines ticking across the screen if that's something that you're interested in. For me, one of the things that I think is really cool is if you're playing games with your kids, you can use this for scoring, so you can keep the score up on the screen. I can show you that here quick. So you can actually do lap type scoring and stuff like that. And you also can just score like 1 point, 2 point, and things like that. But here you go. Here's your count up, count down, and we can kind of figure out who is who on there as well. And then if you have something that has a timer, just like the scoring, you can set a timer. So if you want to go for 2 minutes and you're doing Pictionary or something like that, you could do that. I'd play Pictionary on it, but I'm just trying to think of an example for you. Another thing you can do on here is color. So you can take pictures that are pre-designed and you can just color with them right on the app itself. That's kind of a fun one for you or for the kids if you're bored. You just go into this coloring app here and you can go through and you can kind of decide where you want the colors to be and what you want them to be. And then when you're done, it'll fill in all the blanks for you of everywhere that you had highlighted. And this is something we're going to address while we're going along here, but you can actually play games on here. And there is a plethora of different games that are on here. Some work directly from the device, and then you also have games on the app that you can play to the device. So they kind of work together. Now, this particular Divoom Ditoo Pixel was provided me from Aliexpress. They have no input on what I put into this video, but they did provide the product for me. I've actually reviewed a Divoom product before, and that is my time skate. And you see this in a lot of my videos in the background. My time skate's pretty much always on my desk, and I use this for all kinds of things. And depending on what I'm doing, I can get different stuff along this one as well. I just know this is going to link together at the end, so just something for you to look at. But with the time skate, you actually can keep track of like your Fortnite rank, stuff like that. I use it for keeping track of my YouTube stuff and just kind of interesting things that are going on. And I, again, have different modes that I can go into that'll show me different things. You can get a lot of that stuff here on the Divoom Ditoo Pro. Yes, I've kind of talked about some of their products before, but this one has even more cool stuff because you can play games on it. Like I said, initially, Aliexpress did send it to me to play games on, and I really just wanted to see what the games were about on here. And because I'm a big believer in their product, a couple other things that you might want to know if you're getting into this is, yes, the keys are replaceable, and they're using blue switches, so you can actually pull the caps, and they do have blue switches underneath. So these are good keycaps that we have on here. They sound good, they feel good, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna run through a couple things on the device. So like I did show you the speaker and the woofer on the back. We obviously have our keys here with our blue caps, and then we do have some just art on the sides. You know, this is supposed to be an art piece slash be able to use for whatever you want piece. There are also some plastics that I missed when I was doing the unboxing, so let's get those off of there. They put a lot of wrapper on here just to make sure it looks nice. And on the back here, you do have an on-off switch where you can just push this. It is a rubber membrane, and you can push it in or out. Or if you lift it, you can still see that on-off button, but you also have an area to put in a memory card. An SD card can go right in there, and you can load your music on there. And so if you have playlists and stuff you want to create ahead of time, you can load those up and put that right in there. And then you do have Type-C charging. It is 5 volts, 2 amps, so your typical Type-C charging. This little switch right here that looks like it is for a slot machine, which it kind of is what used as a selection switch along here, and we will look at that too. And then we also do have a music button down here on the bottom. So we will start off, and I will pull up the app here so we can take a look at it, and I'll show you how easy it is to change the pixel art, because pixel art is a thing that I'm extremely interested in. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know that I used to put all the brands that I was working with on pixel art. I would create a pixel art kind of banner for them for all the videos I was doing, and unfortunately I broke that. It was like a 64 by 64 bit graphic that I could draw whatever I wanted on my iPad, and that no longer exists, but we do have the app still. And if you're going through things on here, let's make sure we're sunk up, and you can separate if you want to have the app set up for video and audio or anything like that. And you can also have it do random pictures. That is one thing you can do. But now if I change something on here, it will change it on there, and it's almost immediate. Even as you're scrolling here, it's going to change these images. So now we have like Marvel characters going on. There's thousands of these things on there has to be, and you can create your own and upload them to the community as well. So if you are into pixel art like I am, you are able to upload your own images. I have done that for their other products before. Unfortunately, again, my bigger one that I was using before actually broke. This will fit nicer on my desk though, so no complaints. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll get a hold of the bigger one and show you guys that one at some point in time as well. I never did do a review of it, but it is something that I really like using. So here's one of your options as far as, these are all new projects I'm going through right now, and there's just loads and loads of them. They never stop. And then if I wanted to create my own, I literally would just hit this plus button down here, and I can create my own image, and whatever I put on here is going to show up on the screen. And this is how I would draw out the things before. I don't have as many pixels here, but I'm pretty sure I can still work with what I have to come up with an image. Well, I was attempting to make my logo, and I made it on a bigger screen, and I tried to compact it into this, and it didn't quite work out. But let's try that one more time. I'm going to try importing an image and doing it one more time. All right, I've given up. I'm back to the community art. This one's just a little bit smaller, so it's a little bit harder to do. I could do it, I think, but I need to take some time. Oh, the phone's ringing. Sorry, gotta go. So pixel art is one of the cool things that you can do on here. We'll come back to the app here in just a minute because we can do some gaming and things like that on here as well. But now we go back to the main screen here. We can see our audio. Then we also have the ability to do the coloring, which we already did. Here we do have, again, the gaming, so we can do scores, things like that through here. It's a scoreboard. So like here where I'm up by 1. Oh, now I scored 3 or 2. You know, so you can go back and forth like that. You do have the ability to have an alarm clock on here, and you can set whatever time you want that to be for on your alarm clock right on here. You're just using your plus and minus keys, and when you got whatever row done, hit this little jackpot switch over here from the slot machine. You should go down, and then you'll be able to change that one as well. It's really pretty intuitive, to be honest with you. It's something that's kind of crazy how easy it is to work and how well it works with its own software. Now, there's a lot to the software. Again, we're not going to go through everything that's on here, but one thing I did want to show you, first we'll do a game on here, and then I'll show it to you on the software. So you can play the games right here on your desktop. What kind of game do I want to play? This one here's a Magic 8 Ball. Oh, sorry, that's a Magic 8 Ball. What is the one before it? I'm not sure what that one is. Okay, so we could play like old school Pong on here if we wanted to. Boy, even this has some good sound to it. It's crazy. You know, you can play stuff like this. If you want to, there's some other games you can play directly on here, which I think are pretty fun. This one here is going to be like Flappy Bird. This one's challenging because you have to use up and down, forward and back. Okay, but it's Flappy Bird. And so if you're bored, you can play this on your desk. And it's really satisfying. If you're a person that's into keyboards at all, like the mechanical clicks of keyboards, this is a very satisfying thing to play games on. And when I said gaming on this, I'm talking like super retro gaming. Flappy Bird might be a newer game, but some of these other games are pretty retro. We can also play Snake on here, which I really enjoy. I do that from time to time, is I'll play some Snake, and we'll just have to find it here in the list. And Snake uses all the directional buttons. And this is something you can do one-handed, and you can just sit here and you can play Snake. This reminds me of my first Nokia cell phone. I think it was a 9100 or something like that had Snake on it. Okay, so that wasn't my first Nokia cell phone, but one of my first Nokia cell phones. One of the first ones that had games on it, and everybody was so stoked to be able to play Snake. This brings me back. It's like riding a bike, though. You kind of just pick it up right away. If you stare hard enough, you can see the pixels on here. All right, well, we're never going to lose this game, so we'll end it. And then as far as other games go that we can play on here, this is supposed to be a race car game, so you got to stop so you don't hit the F1 cars. I think it's F1 racing. This I've never played before. So lots of options. Here's your Galactica. So now if you want to play games from your phone, you would just go here into this far left one. It's the navigation button, and you're going to go into more, and you're going to go into game, and now you have to choose what game you want. You know, you can scroll across the top here. There's all these different games on here. So as we were looking before, you got Pixel Battle, you got Galactica, they call it Pixel Bee. You have a joystick on here. So some of the games are going to use the joystick, and some are just going to use the arrow keys, but then you use your phone as a controller, which is kind of fun. It's using that same Bluetooth that's hooked up for your music and everything else to be able to use it as a controller. Pretty neat. I really do enjoy it. I do play a lot like this, but if I'm having a rough day, the satisfaction of pushing these keys really makes you feel good at the end of the day. And that to me is important. I think that gives you kind of a basic overview of what the Divoom Ditoo does, or Ditoo, or however you pronounce it. It is really cool. It's a retro little PC, not really PC, pixel art PC, which I love art pieces. I love pixel art. And this one plays games. I had to try it out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe this is something you want to get for your niece or nephew. It does a lot more than even what I just showed you, but the basics I just showed you are going to get you going, and I think that's important here. And I guess with that, we're just going to ask the 8-ball if this review should be done. Should we give the viewers a discount for making it this far into the video? Aliexpress did give me some special discount coupons for my viewers. They will be down in my thingamabob. I'm not exactly sure what the values are off the top of my head, but they are really good discount codes, especially at a time right now where there aren't any other promotions that are running. So use those codes. I believe they run through the end of the month. I will put the dates on them when I put them down in my thingamabob for you. I just wanted to say thank you for making it this far into the video, and thank you Aliexpress for sending this to me so I could take a look at it. But that's all I got for today. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends because sharing helps grow the channel. Also, sharing is caring, and honestly, that's the most important part because we care about each other around here. And then on top of that, don't forget to take a look at one of these videos up on top here that YouTube chose for you. They say you're going to like them. It's part of the algorithm. The algorithm speaks to all of us. So we're all living in this YouTube algorithm. So obviously you're going to like whatever it has that's up there because they say that you're going to. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.